crystal clear. The copper is very stable. The pH may or may not be. So we say, and in our system, you need to test the water once a week. And we can do the same thing on a pond, which ponds by their nature are extremely maintenance intensive on a water chemistry basis, certainly. But the idea of knowing that we need to know our residuals are there also goes to that big benefit with the copper. Copper kills poliovirus, cryptosporidium, Legionella, 3 or 4 things should they get in your pool, and they do. They're regulated in public water and tested for weekly in commercial pools. The copper toxicity of those microbes makes it very easy as long as we have our copper in the pool. We don't have any copper, we don't have any chlorine, the pool's not safe.
Larry,
You open it in the spring.
I just wanted to inject one thing here if I could. When I decided to put this system in, I took one of the brochures down to a local pool dealer. And I showed him the brochure, and he read through it. He was very skeptical of whether this would ever work. So after I had it in for 2 weeks, once a week for the next 4 weeks, I took my water down and had them conduct tests on it and analyze it. And the guy just stood there and shook his head. He says, it does work. And, you know, he just said, there's nothing that we could add to this water to make it any purer.
You know, the funny corporate story, the largest distributor of swimming pool filters in the 9-state Midwest, I'm the operating partner at ECOsmarte, but the second largest block of stock is owned by the largest distributor of chlorine in town. He wandered in our business in 1999 or year 2000 and said, where have you been? We're not selling this because we believe in it. We've been looking for, and they had already gone in due diligence with a couple of my local pool builders. But I mean, we wouldn't make a sales call on the largest chlorine distributor in the 9-state area thinking that he would not only become a big seller and proponent of EcoSmart, but would want to buy out a chunk of our owner group, not for purposes of putting this product on the shelf like the battery car, but because his family swims. I mean, they get it. There's nobody who likes chlorine. Now, you know, before we transition into commercial pools, I wanted to make sure we covered a couple of these other applications. The spa in the pond can be your maintenance nightmare if you own one. And the chemicals are a big part of the maintenance nightmare. I can say once it's installed, and that seems to be a little different ordeal than the simple system where we put it on the pool. We install this in a hydrotherapy spa or a fish pond with water gardens, and the amount of hours per week and the clarity of the water is going to be night and day. There isn't really a great chemical spa or pond system. These do go cloudy. These are maintenance nightmares. And once in a while you'll find somebody that's putting so much chemical in their spa they can't get in it. But that's how they keep it clean. They'd rather have it clear and smell like, you know, chlorine than deal with the come and go cloudy water that ponds and spas. But we're really good with those features because we know that a lot of pool owners own spas and own ponds, and those products are dramatic. We're right now a little bit ahead of schedule. We haven't touched on any of the applications really other than pool, spa, haunted house, but this is a good time to take questions on these. Yeah.
You talk about all positive things. What are the negative things?
The cost.
You're in the wrong seminar, Steve.
No. No, people ask me okay, I'm going to go to EcoSmart for my pool. What's the negative thing? Well, number one, you're going to outlay either $2,000 or $5,000, depending on which model you go with. That's not a good thing. Okay, but what you are going to get is over time, whether it's 4 years or 8 years, you're going to pay for this system with the money you save on chemicals. We're not going to tell you to buy it for that reason. We're going to tell you that it will be easier to run than the chlorine pool, and you're going to have a lot of people raving about your pool water. It takes me somewhere between 2 and 3 years to take an average guy in the trade and get him to believe in EcoSmart. Because he's seen things before come to market that didn't quite work as advertised. The one thing that we do differently also is we run the pool at different pH parameters than the swimming pool industry. And at one of the national pool symposiums a couple years ago, my trainer was introducing, we developed a buffer on the pH. So even if you have CO2, we buffer pH with a high calcium. With our house system, we're not getting hard scale on your shower door. On your swimming pool, we're not getting a hard water line, or on your spa. That goes to the whole product group on the whole house systems. But we buffer that pH with a higher calcium, and we run the pH lower than a chlorine or a bromine pool. So the negative is we have to teach you a new system, and it costs money to get into our product. 2 to 3 weeks into it, though, I don't know of a negative. And as I said earlier, the idea that two guys in the same neighborhood roughly are going to both be successful without any hitches ignores why we have the toll-free. We expect people to have the crud burst of the chemicals coming out of the plumbing line or the filter, cloudy water that may or may not resolve. But if they have, they follow directions or they call us, it should be real simple to switch the pool over.
Steve, it really is difficult to discuss any negatives, but I think it's an appropriate question. The expense is there. It's not an inexpensive system. It's a Cadillac in the market. But one thing that Larry hasn't mentioned, because Larry constantly reminds us to sell this thing on the quality and the health issues. Don't worry too much about the dollars, because that isn't the more important part of it. But those of us with vinyl liners on our pool, your liner's going to last 50% longer because it's not getting eat up by chlorine. And at $3 and $4 grand a pop to replace them every 7 to 10 years, that's a big issue. And I've been through it. I'm in my third, probably going to my fourth liner pretty soon after 31 years, and I'm getting tired of changing them because they don't make them as good as they used to. Another plus is that you only run your system half the time you used to run it. Most people run their pools 24/7. You can cut it down to 12 hours a day or less. So there's some electrical savings as well. And those are some cost savings issues that need to be pointed out, but they aren't the most important issue. The health issues are the most important issues. And the women's hair.
Extend the life of a heater also.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're not running all that crud through your heaters. I've got a bad heater that Marty Conroe is going to fix for me because I am guilty of having one for 15 years and done zero maintenance on it. I have not done a thing to my heater, and it's starting to show up. And Marty looked at it last year and just shook his head and said, "This thing is bad." So, but the chemicals not going through there, the hard water not going through there, the scale and everything in the heating system is going to help that heater last a lot longer. So there's intangibles that you're not going to recognize for a few years, but they're there.
Yeah, we definitely have pools from 94, 95 where the liners look brand new. One program we did put out in 2002, when you build a pool, and that pool never had chlorine or salt in it, because we have the owner group that's the large pool distributor, we put out a program we call double the manufacturer's warranty on the pump, the filter, the heater. So if the manufacturer was giving 3 years, if you build the pool with EcoSmarte, we're giving you 6 years, because the chart here on the last 10,000 pools that are built is we do double or triple the life of these items. The heat exchanger would be a 6-year item, best case, 6 seasons in the north. Yeah, you're pushing it, okay. Well, we have numerous 10, 14-year range heat exchangers. But the liner's looking brand new. If you came to Minneapolis this summer, I'd be able to take you within 3 city blocks of our headquarters and take you to a pool where the liner was put in 94, 95. It looks like it's right out of the box. So vinyl pools are easy. Plaster pools are a little trickier. However, most of the pools in the northern United States tend to be vinyl. I can't, I want to also preface, neither one of you have glass on your pool yet, do you?
No, we don't have the glass
Right,
medium.
so they've done this with the conventional pool filter that everyone uses.
Both of us have a sand filter, which we're going to change to this glass media this summer as soon as Barry ships us up that pallet we're waiting for.
Do we have to, as the industry representatives here, if we go to put one of these things in, do we have to be certified on this system in order to put it in for you to follow the warranty?
We would be, to follow the warranty, I don't know, Larry would have to answer that, but having having installed a couple, or seen them install the certification of pool folks like yourselves is a pretty simple situation.
Well, I can understand that, but
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these products when they come out, especially ionizers and stuff like that, you have to be certified to put them in or else.
Larry, could you address that?
Well, I would address, that's a good instinct. You know, what we have now, and, you know, we were talking last night, we had our first, we learned Skype in 2000, whatever. It's like I had my iPhone in the box and I finally have learned it, and it's amazing we didn't go there years ago. But we can take in a tradesperson, whether they're building, servicing, remodeling, all of the above the pool, and spend 2 hours with you, and we have very good documentation. We don't require, because still the bulk of our units, the homeowner puts them in themselves, or hires his pool man to come out and cut the pipe. You know, this cutting 11 inches and gluing it in is pretty simple.
Yeah, but it's also.
Getting which pipe you put it on is the trick.
Well, it is frightening to a lot of people,
That's-
I could do it, I don't want to do it, I hire somebody to do it. There's
Right.
other people that don't want to do it, period, they don't know how to do it, and it is frightening to them, so the way we sell these, it's an installed price, by the way, and then we'll get you a guy to put it in if you want. That's why we got guys like you here, because we want to talk to you about doing installations for us,
The things that go wrong in the trade, when they look at our product and they haven't been, as you call it, certified, or they haven't necessarily bought into our proprietary operating system, they're gonna try and run the pH higher. We run the pH of the pool at neutral. We find that the oxygen, the copper actually changes molecular form and has an increased viral kill rate. This is from Johns Hopkins, not from ECOsmarte. So we run the pH lower. When we don't have corrosive chlorine in the water, a neutral pH isn't going to ruin the pool. However, if you've been running chlorine pools for the last X number of years, the one thing you know is don't let that pH go down. It burns the swimmer, it eats up the heat exchanger, to mention one component. So that's the battle with the pool people. And then sometime a couple years ago, we came out and said 6.6 pH is better than 7.0. Why? Because they overshoot it if they just leave it down there. As long as we don't have a corrosive agent in the water, that's at 90 degrees still pretty neutral. And that part of it is hard for the industry to accept. And not just the swimming pool industry, but anywhere where I'm trying to control the pH on a pond, a spa, or a pool, the idea that I'm going to run at 6.8 neutral. And we developed that in the 1990s based on success, and then later others like Yahoo Science and started legitimizing what we were doing with the term calcium bicarbonate. When you oxygenate water, you make it wetter, you soften the mineral, not the water. Softened water is we take the mineral out of the water, put a trace of salt in the water. With EcoSmarte, we soften the mineral, would be the best way to describe bicarbonate metals.
For those of you that are here for other than swimming pool, I just wanted to make you aware, we are going to get to the commercial municipal pool systems, and we are going to get to the point of entry house systems as well. I didn't want you to think we left you out because of all these